Today, we've put together a list of 30 weird fun facts to surprise and amaze everyone in your friends and family. Why Mike Tyson offered $10,000 to zoo attendant? When was your mum's oldest joke discovered? What is Jesus nut? Finding answers to these questions and more will leave everyone around you shook. So, without wasting time, let's get started with Number 1. Crows often hold grudges against specific people. Crows are excellent at recognizing people's faces and are able to remember people for a long time. This can be either a negative or positive fact, depending on how nice you are to them. Number 2. 7% of American adults believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. It's an alarming fact when you think about it. This shows that 1 in 10 Americans has a flawed understanding of basic science or where their food comes from. Number 3. If you lift a kangaroo's tail off the ground, it can't hop. Kangaroos use their tails for balance whilst hopping. So if you elevate their tail, they would have no balance and fall over. There are cases where kangaroos have lost their tails and can still move around, but it took them a long time to adjust, and they can only move small distances at a time. Number 4. Snakes can predict earthquakes. Many animals are able to predict earthquakes to varying levels of success, yet snakes are the most reliable, sensing earthquakes from as far as 75 miles away. They can even sense an earthquake 5 days before it actually occurs. When snakes sense an earthquake, they often leave their nests, even if the temperature is too cold. Number 5. Banging your head against a wall for 1 hour burns 150 calories. If you're not keen on losing brain cells, you might want to give this calorie-burning idea a miss. A safer way to burn 150 calories would be to take your dog for a walk for 45 minutes. Number 6. Sea otters hold hands when they sleep so they don't drift away from each other. While it may look like a couple of otters being adorable, it's actually a life-saving strategy. This technique is commonly seen with mothers and their pups. Another way they stay still in choppy seas is by grabbing onto long strands of kelp that grow up from the seabed. Number 7. In 1783, the very first hot air balloon took off with a sheep, a duck, and a rooster on board. The Montgolfier brothers, who invented the hot air balloon, were inspired by their laundry lifting from a fire's heat. The inaugural flight took animal passengers, as it was unknown how flying at high altitudes would affect humans. The animal passengers landed safely, but the sheep ended up on top of the rooster. Number 8. On average, men get bored of a shopping trip after 26 minutes. Meanwhile, women don't get tired of shopping until around 2 hours have passed. On top of this, it's been found that 8 in 10 men hate shopping with their partner. Men who are promised a treat at the end of a joint shopping trip are likelier to pretend to enjoy shopping with their partner for longer. Number 9. In the 16th century, Turkish women could initiate divorce if their husbands didn't provide enough coffee. This would be unheard of today, but coffee was an integral part of Turkish society back then. It was introduced into the country in the 15th century, and by the 16th century, they had mastered the art of coffee. Coffee became so popular, it seems, that it became grounds for divorce. No one knows why exactly this actually came into law, but the fact remains that it was. Number 10. Recycling just 1 tin can save enough energy to watch television for 3 hours. That's how important recycling is. In fact, recycling an aluminum can into a new one takes only 5% of the energy required to produce one normally. The average person has the chance to recycle 25,000 cans in their lifetime. That's 75,000 hours of television. Number 11. If you look strictly at statistics, you're more likely to win an Olympic medal than the lottery. According to statistics, your chances of winning an Olympic gold medal is about 1 in 3.5 million. However, the chances of you winning the lottery is 1 in 14 million. Number 12. Hell is real. There's an actual village in southern Norway named Hell. However, it may not be true to its name. The weather in Hell is consistently below 20 degrees C, with lows dropping to negative temperatures. Number 13. A swarm of 20,000 bees followed a car for 2 days as their queen was trapped inside. A 68-year-old grandmother returning from a nature reserve was shocked to find her car covered in bees after the queen bee got stuck. The bees were safely removed, and the lovely old lady made her way home. However, much to her surprise, the bees were back the next day. It seems that the queen bee was still stuck inside, and the bees followed her the whole way home. This time, they were all removed, and they, fortunately, didn't return. Number 14. A small child could swim through the veins of a blue whale. We all know blue whales are enormous, but this puts it into a whole new perspective. The largest animals on the planet, blue whales, can grow as large as 100 feet long and weigh up to 150 tons. Their hearts are obviously huge too, about the same size as a small car. So it's no surprise that a child of 3 or 4 could swim with ease through a blue whale's massive veins. Number 15. If Pinocchio said, "My nose will grow now," it would create a paradox. As we all know, whenever Pinocchio lies, his nose grows longer. But there's one sentence that Pinocchio could say that breaks this system, which is, "My nose will grow now." This conundrum is known as the Pinocchio paradox. If you think about it, Pinocchio's nose would have to grow to make his statement not a lie. But then it can't grow, otherwise the statement would not be a lie. Number 16. Pirates wore earrings because they believed they improved their eyesight. In fact, there are many reasons why pirates wore earrings. Some pirates would use trinkets for earrings from faraway lands. This was to show how well-traveled they were. Pirates believed the precious metals in their earrings were magical and would protect or enhance their eyesight. They also believed earrings could aid in seasickness and prevent them from drowning. Number 17. In a flight from China to Africa, a man wore 60 shirts and 9 pairs of jeans because he didn't want to pay for extra baggage. He wore it throughout an 11.5-hour flight. Number 18. Peanuts are used to make dynamite. Aside from giving some people explosive diarrhea, peanuts can also be used to make actual explosives. Once peanut oil is processed, it can create glycerol, which in turn can be used to make nitroglycerin, one of the main components of dynamite. Number 19. 152 people in the US are named LOL, laugh out loud or lots of love. What it means we may never know, but 152 people have LOL as their legit birth name. Most of these LOLs live in Wyoming. Number 20. In 1998, Sony accidentally sold 700,000 camcorders that could see through people's clothes. Sony designed the cameras to capture footage better in the dark. So their mistake was actually innocent. The camcorders were able to see through clothes as they had the ability to record in infrared. But during the day, you could see through someone's outer layer of clothing. As soon as Sony realized their error, they attempted to recall all the cameras, making it their largest product recall to date. Number 21. If you fell into a volcano, you'd float on the lava instead of melting. You've seen it in films and television hundreds of times, but that doesn't make it real. In reality, lava is 3 times denser than water. As we're mainly composed of water, we would simply float on the surface. It's still not a great way to go out though, as you would rapidly catch on fire. Number 22. A man once hired someone to slap him to avoid checking Facebook. Manish Sethi hired a woman to slap him in the face every time he tried checking Facebook at work. He paid the woman $8 an hour. Number 23. George W. Bush was once a cheerleader. In 1963, George W. Bush attended Phillips Academy in Andover, Massachusetts. During the school year, he was photographed wearing a short skirt and false breasts stuffed down his sweater to cheer on his school's team. While this was actually intended to mock the other school's team, it makes for a great, true story. Number 24. The world record for stuffing drinking straws into your mouth at once is 650. On August 25, 2018, Nataraj Karate broke the Guinness World Record for stuffing 650 drinking straws in his mouth at once. Karate broke the world record in Tamil Nadu, India, making him the second Indian in a row to achieve this. He had to keep the straws in his mouth for at least 10 seconds to break the record. This makes the 17th time that this record has been broken so far. Number 25. There's a company you can pay to kidnap you. The Ultime Realite is a French company that offers kidnapping services. If you pay them a fee, they will come to kidnap you when you least expect it. Ropes, binds, and all. They won't do it immediately though. They'll wait for a certain period so you won't remember that you paid someone to kidnap you. Number 26. 90% of US money has cocaine on it. Either from exposure or drug use, a study revealed that 90% of the dollars circulating in the economy have cocaine on it. Traces of cocaine were found reaching 0.006 micrograms, several thousand times smaller than salt. The green dye on dollars causes cocaine residue to stick to the bills. Number 27. Cherophobia is the irrational fear of fun or happiness. Do you hate all things fun? You might have cherophobia. People with this phobia tend to avoid any kind of situation that others might classify as fun or joyful. Number 28. Mike Tyson once offered a zoo attendant $10,000 to let him fight a gorilla. Back in the 90s, Mike Tyson was a true force to be reckoned with. Tyson had already bribed a zoo attendant to open the zoo just for himself and his then-wife, Robin Givens. It was during this visit that he made his outlandish request. He demanded the attendant to open the cage and let me smash that silverback snotbox. Fortunately for everyone involved, the zoo attendant declined his request. Number 29. The oldest "your mom" joke was discovered on a 3,500-year-old Babylonian tablet. In 1976, archaeologists discovered a tablet in Iraq, which has since been lost. But researchers were able to analyze and translate the text from a photograph of the tablet. The results? We know that the tablet does indeed contain jokes, but the full meaning has been lost in translation. What? Who is it? Do we understand it? Not a chance, but we recognize a "your mom" joke when we see one. Number 30. There is a nut on a helicopter nicknamed the Jesus nut. Technically called the mast nut, it's a single nut that fixes the rotor blades to the helicopter. It was nicknamed the Jesus nut because if it fails, it would bring about catastrophic consequences. That's all for today. Subscribe to our channel for more fun videos.